Hello everybody, it's Maikito. I hope everybody's having a good day. Has had a good day so far. First of all, before I go over the picks, I know we reverse sweep the last video. It was an 0-3 day. Days like that will happen. We were starting to pick up some pace, starting to do good on the plays. Had that day, but hopefully with this big slate on Saturday, we can make up for that. As always, I have all my plays. I like these plays, and if I do have any added plays, it will be in the pinned comment. Could be later tonight, could be tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any, but if I do, they will always be there. But other than that, I'll just get straight into the plays. Both of these player props, again, are on PrizePicks because Underdog, in general, the lines have just been horrible. They're barely allowing any lines for you to bet the under on, so it's only the higher. And the reason why they're doing that is because almost every single one of their lines are super inflated, so they're not worth taking. So unless they fix that, I'm not going to have a lot of Underdog picks lately, but these are on PrizePicks, which is where I've been finding them. But the first player prop that I found that I like is Adam Marusic to go under 0.5 shots assisted at home for Lazio going up against Juventus. Just numbers-wise, I like this pick. He's not a player that Lazio really look to when it comes to attacks. They're much more likely to go to the left back, which is Pellegrini, as opposed to Masuric. Besides, he's a player that's much more likely to take the shot instead of passing it. He only has 12 shots assisted in 32 games, and he averages 0.51 per 90. So if you do it by average rights per 90, technically it's a 50-50 shot, but I like the under because they're playing Juventus, who on average allow the 6th least shots to opponents. He went under in the first game, but I will say that Lazio did get a 24-minute red card, so Lazio only took 2 shots in general. But he actually played him 4 times last season, 2 times in a cup and 2 times in the league. And he went under in 3 out of those 4 games. He started in every single game. I'm pretty sure he played full minutes in all of them. And he went under in 3 out of 4. And in the only game that he went over was when Lazio as a team has 16 shots. But I do not see Lazio shooting that many shots at all. Both teams are tied in points and are fighting for a top 4 spot, which is a Champions League spot. So I see this being a close and aggressive game where both teams can't really afford to go too aggressive, or they will get caught out and they could concede a goal. And in general, when he makes passes, the only passes that he completes are like close ones. If he goes for one to where his teammates are going to shoot, like if you look at his long ball accuracy, he only has a 34.5% long ball accuracy, which is really bad. And his cross accuracy is even worse at an 18.4 cross accuracy. And even then, he doesn't attempt them that much at all. So I just like this play. A tough matchup. I like Adam Marusic to go under 0.5 shots assisted. And the second play that I found that I like is Aaron Ramsdale to go higher than 4 saves at home for Southampton, going up against Manchester City. They're playing a hot Manchester City side who is very informed, who have won 5 straight and are undefeated in 9 straight. And Manchester City in general are a dangerous team when in form. Everybody knows that. This is a bad season for them, but they are still fighting for a Champions League spot and have moved all the way up to 3rd place. He went over in the first game with 6 saves from 7 on target. So if he could do the same thing here, this is going to be an easy line. Manchester City opponents, like opposing keepers, on average have the 4th most saves. They average 3.8 saves. We need him to get at least 4, but he's had 4+ in 16 out of 27 games. That's a 59% hit rate, and that's a good hit rate considering the fact that 4 saves is a lot. But I see him getting the saves here because Manchester City is an aggressive team, and they need to try to keep playing points to get the Champions League spot in general. They're already relegated, mainly due to their bad defense, so that's just a good matchup for Manchester City to exploit. A good team in general to try to get those points from. And City play possession, they play through balls, they play down the wings, and Southampton also can't defend long shots, and that's just easy saves for him if he gets those as well. He will get the opportunities. We need him to get at least 4, and I like the line. I like Aaron Ramsdale to go higher than 4 saves. Before I get into the money line plays, as always, I would really appreciate if everybody liked the video and commented as well. It helps boost the video out to more people, and it's a great way to support the channel. And if you want to support the channel just a little more, I do have the membership link in the description if you're interested in that. It's not for those that want like premium picks. I don't sell any of that. I don't believe in that stuff. It's just for those that, again, want to support the channel, and you get the video out even earlier than what you usually would, so you get these plays and these picks out before everybody else. And all the pictures that you see on the screen are from Outlier, the data app that I use, and all my links for everything else is also linked in the description, whether it's PrizePicks, Underdog, everything else. So I really wouldn't think anybody supports me in any way. The first slip that I have is for -117, and the first play is Villarreal to win or draw going up against Girona. I actually like the plus money. I lean on them to win, so we just need them to not lose. I like them in this game. Girona are 6 points above relegation, so they're relatively safe, while Villarreal are only 1 point above top 5, which is a Champions League spot, so they need the points much more than Girona need the points. The first game was 2-2, and it was due to a Girona comeback, but one of the players that scored in that game was Van de Beek, and he's injured in that game. And before Girona scraped a 1-0 win to Mallorca, Girona were actually on an 11-game winless run, and they had lost. They have in general have lost the last have not won. Sorry, the last 15 out of 16 games. So they're not in good form. Their season hasn't really been that great. Girona are leaky on defense, and are actually a bottom 3 defense in general. They've conceded 52 goals in 34 games, and now they have a bad matchup playing a top 3 offense with the only teams that have scored more goals than Villarreal being Real Madrid and Barcelona. So they can easily either outscore them or keep up with Girona. Girona's weak on counters, they're weak on through balls, and they're weak in the air. And Villarreal are good on all 3. They like to play off the counter, they like to play those through balls, and they have big bodies and are good in the air. They make mistakes in general, hence why Girona are leaky. And Villarreal have converted 39% of those shots on target that they've taken, so that's above average, and I just don't see them losing this game. So I like Villarreal to win or draw going up against Girona. And the second one is in the MLS, and that's Toronto to win or draw going up against DC United. They have had a disappointing season to start so far, but DC have actually also have not been much better at all. Toronto, in their last game when they lost to New England, were actually booed off the pitch from their own fans. So even after that, their coach was said they're still confident in their abilities. They see key things that they need to change, and now they have a great matchup here. They have had difficulty scoring, but again, against DC, I don't see them having too much troubles here. After 5 away games, DC actually have the worst defense in the league away from home. They've conceded 16 goals in 5 away games. So on average, they have conceded over 3 goals a game. And they actually played each other in the very first game of the season in DC, which is even worse for Toronto. And in that game, it was a 2-2 game. Toronto were able to score 2 and took 12 shots, with 7 of those being on target. So if they were able to score 2 against them away from home in the first game, now that they're at home having these offensive difficulties, I see them in general just being able to use this matchup to kind of get back into that form. Both games, or both teams in general, don't play possession, and in that first game they both had 50% possession of the ball, hence why DC were able to Toronto were able to get more offense in general. This is a great game to turn around their season and start on a good run of form, and another team that I just don't see losing at home. So I like Toronto to win or draw going up against DC United, and I like this slip from -117. The second slip, this one's for -120, and the first play is Celta Vigo to have 4+ shots on target going up against Sevilla. At home, they average 5.3. We just need 4, so we need them to just get a little below average. Sevilla, as a team, have been in bad form. They're winless in the last 7 straight so far, and they allow the 12th most or 9th least, whatever you want to see it, shots on target at 3.8. So on average, they allow 4. They're an average defense in general, and Celta are fighting for a top 8 spot and only 1 point up top 7. They play with through balls. Sevilla are weak against those. Sevilla foul the 8th most and tend to give them in dangerous areas and give set pieces to opponents, and which is good for us because Celta is good at taking those free kicks. They like taking long shots, so that's easier shots on target they can get, and they have hit this prop in 6 straight home games. And after this game, the last 3 games for Celta Vigo will be tough. They have a fully healthy offense, so they need to take advantage of all the games left if they want to get a European spot. We need them to get at least 4. They average over 5, and Sevilla allow on average 4. So I like this. I like Celta Vigo to get 4+ shots on target going up against Sevilla. And the second place in the German Bundesliga, and that's Freiburg to win or draw going up against hosting Kiel. Kiel are in good scoring form, while Freiburg in general have been in good form overall. They are undefeated in 4 straight and have been undefeated in the last 11 out of 13 games for Freiburg, which is good for us. And they themselves are fighting for a top 4 spot in the Champions League and only 1 point ahead to keep their spot. And if you see the theme in all these picks, I'm picking games where teams still have stuff to play for. I don't want to pick any of those games where teams are just have nothing to play for, so those are much more unpredictable. They still have much to play for. And Kiel, while they have scored 7 goals in their last 2 games, one of their players, Maikito, who was responsible for 3 of those 7 goals, will be out injured. And those games were against Augsburg and Gladbach, so it's not like they were the best defenses in general. And Freiburg's issue when they've played away from home is their goal scoring form, but they have been able to score in 4 out of the last 5 away games, and they're playing Kiel, who has the worst defensive rating so far in the league. They have conceded 39 goals in 16 home games in general. So Kiel concede over 2 goals a game. And if Freiburg can score just 1, I do not see Kiel scoring 2. I can see them winning this game, but I just do not see them losing. They were able to win in the first game 3-2, and the player that scored both goals for Kiel was Harris, who scored, like I said, he scored 2 of those goals, but without counting that game, he has only scored 6 goals in 23 games, so I don't see him being able to score this many goals, if any at all, in this game. And Freiburg, they thrive on opposing teams making mistakes, which is what Kiel does, hence why they have a bad defensive record. They're good at taking free kicks, they're good at taking those long shots. Kiel foul the 3rd most, they have the 3rd most yellow cards, they can't defend long shots, and they can't defend set pieces. So matchup wise is great for Freiburg, and they need to pick up those points to keep that top 4 spot. So I don't see them losing here. I like Freiburg to win or draw going up against Kiel, and I like this lift for -120. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll quickly go over last video's picks. I mentioned it was a bad day, and just because it's a bad day, I'm not going to skip over the plays. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. We did have an 0-3 day. Player prop wise, Wright, Coventry in general played a bad game, and Wright only took 1 shot, and then Kramrich, Hoffenheim in general had a lot of shots, 16, 17, 18 shots, and he only took 1 of them, so we missed both of those. I still like the reads, but they weren't able to perform. And then money line wise, we had Milan, they came back, they won the game. And then we have Palmas to score, who had, like I mentioned, has scored in all but 2 home games, and this was their 3rd. They should have scored, they just couldn't find those chances. So again, it was an 0-3 day. We did reverse sweep, wasn't a good day, but I mentioned in the beginning, days like that will happen, and all we can do is bounce back. We can't let it discourage us. I like the process, I like these picks in general. I trust myself, I know I will bounce back. And like I mentioned, if I do have any added plays, it will be in the pinned comment either later tonight or tomorrow. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.